All right, guys, what's up? Day 2 in the shop, and guess what came in? Finally got mounted, finally got balanced. Our new tire setup for the Mega. So, looking at it, you can probably guess what they are. Let you look at the tread, guess the size in the comments. Here is reveal time. So, we went with Falcon Wild Peaks AT4Ws, 295/65. So, this is a 35.4 inch tire by 11.1. Didn't want to go a full 12.5 inch width. Don't really like that look. Don't really care to sling rocks up on the side of the truck. But I did want a tire big enough to fill up the wheel well with 3 inches in the front, and then the factory wheel well in the back already had enough room to make this tire look good. I think that this is the perfect match to a 3-inch level in the front. On factory Laramie stock 20s, mounted up just fine, got them road force balanced, so we know they're gonna go true and steady down the road. But these are, as of now, are currently on factory national back order. So the local tire shop knew a guy who knew a guy that were 4 left in another warehouse, and these came in. But here it is, 295/65 R20, an S speed rating, and a 129 load rating, load range E. These are true 3-ply sidewalls. Only these, and I believe the KO3s had that rating. But about a month of research, because tires are expensive and I want to make sure I got the best bang for my buck. These are basically kind of the best on the market on diesel trucks, heavier front ends. They don't give when you tow weight. We know that we haul the 2nd gen with the Mega cabs. So overall, exactly what I was looking for, the size I was looking for, and just got lucky with finding the last 4, maybe in America. Not sure, but that's the tire reveal. We'll get these things thrown on once we get the lift installed. We're gonna pick up where we left off last night. Did a little bit of investigating into the lift. Say hello to 2nd gen. But we are going to have to get up under here, and we're gonna have to run a bolt, per se, backwards from what the instructions say. So this is a bolt hole, or really just a factory cutout in the frame. This is an oval shape. We're gonna have to die grind that out, but we can't fit the bolt that is being supplied to run back through that hole. Our good old Loomis step, bracketry, motor, mount, everything is in the way, but we can get by with running it this direction, which the kit is super nice when it comes to these drop arm brackets. They already have a cutout that is really supposed to hold the nut from spinning. And I'll show you the nut. It's a nylon lock nut versus the other ones are true lock nuts, just bare metal. So I kind of have this lined out with every washer, sleeve, and the way the bolts are gonna push through the frame, through the bracket. And you can see that these are going backwards from these because we have to run on the inside because of both sides of the truck have that mount for the running boards. So that's a little bit of difference there. We'll show you exactly how they push in there, but we're gonna go ahead and start die grinding away, get on the safety glasses. Die grinding is not very fun, especially whenever we have that little room to work with. So set you up on a tripod, get the shock removed right behind me. If you could see, we need to get that out of there. And the axle's just sitting there. So I'm thinking about taking the radius arms all the way off and getting it powder coated to match the brackets and the springs. You might as well, do it all the way if you're gonna do it at all. So I got a guy quoting that, and then lead time wise, it's really gonna tell me if I wanna do it or not, because I don't really want the truck to be down for like 3 weeks to powder coat. But if we can get like a 2 to 5 day turnaround, then I think that would be worth doing so. So let's get you on a time lapse, let's get to work, and I'll catch up with you when we find a good stopping point.
All right, so after a lot of die grinding, which is not fun, this sleeve will now go all the way through like that. And you can see on this side with good light. So that's what we're looking for. And then when you go to clamp down, it'll just squeeze everything together, and then you can really torque it down without putting a whole lot of pressure on your frame rail. And that's what's gonna create the rigidity and the structure of the bracket itself. This is definitely the most time consuming. Probably the most difficult part of the job so far is just working around the bracketry for the steps, and then also just getting up there in a tight space with a right angle die grinder. If you have one with a long enough carbide bit, you can push all the way through the frame and go from this way if you run into the same issue or if you have steps like I do.
All right guys, so catching up with you, you saw the die grinding. We actually lost the collar inside the frame rail. So we robbed the collar off the straight instead of the 90 degree die grinder that we were using. Everything is walled out enough for those sleeves to fit through like we were talking about. So we're gonna go ahead and get ahead and start installing each one of these brackets, show you the orientation of it, and then it's pretty easy. They just slide up in it. So put you back on a tripod. But die grinding is definitely the most time consuming. And like I said, what we had to work around did not make the job any easier. So just now wrapping that up, probably been about 45 minutes to an hour messing with it, but that's what happens when you have custom stuff.
All right guys, so we got it installed. Remember we had to go backwards in this. So this bolt is facing that direction, and instead in the directions it says it needs to go this direction. That's okay. We got our lock nut and we put a washer on it. We want to make sure that we have a good surface to clamp to, and then this is set in that bracket. Moving down here, this bottom bolt, maybe because it's designed for a 5th gen and this cross member is just a tad different, we did have to double stack washers. So if double stacking washers, you can see there's an ever so slight gap right there. It's never gonna hit. But if you single stacked them, then when you go to torque, your torque reading would not be on the nut. It would be on how tight you're pushing it into the end of the cross member. So that gap right there is good enough. We're gonna go ahead and grab 2 more washers of this size tomorrow from the hardware store, and I just feel a whole lot better without it rubbing into the cross member right here. And then the last one is we're gonna have to drill 1/2-inch hole. This is gonna require this coming off. Not looking forward to that, but oh well, just another part of the journey. So that's what it looks like all the way on. Kind of get a good look at it. So you can't really see it as much as you would with the truck without running boards, but if you do kind of stick your head down there, you can see she looks good. All right, and then this other one, this has nothing to run against or run into. It's just the drop bracket part, so running a bolt all the way through there is not going to be a problem. This one's installed, not tightened though. So we got slack in it because we want this to be able to move when we get the axle back over there, slid back with the radius arms going through these two holes right here. So that's the way that they fully install. It would have been a whole lot quicker had I not had this in the way. Let's look at the axle over here because we have made the decision, I have made the decision to go ahead, take these off, get them sandblasted, powder coat them. I thought about running aftermarket ones, 1100, 1200, Striker 2300. It doesn't need to be that fancy. I just want a good color match scheme on the truck. Like I said before, color match bumpers right here. Delmonico red, D-badged. We'll get the mirrors color matched. I just want the whole scheme of the truck to be matched top to bottom. And we're working on the bottom side right now. As far as the axle goes, we're gonna go ahead and get this washed up, respray it with matte black to get it back to the original factory, and then we'll pull these off. One step closer to a bare axle, we're gonna take off the steering stabilizer next because I ordered a Fox one for that. That was not part of the kit. I didn't think I needed it, but I'm kind of going all out. The more I see, the more I want to do. Here's the factory ones. We're gonna get them color matched to that, to the springs, to the overlays. We're just gonna leave that black, and we're gonna measure out Thurin specs, like from center to center on the length of the track bar. Really, I don't know what I'm gonna do to the rear. It's a coil spring. It's not leaf spring, so a lot of brake lines, sway arm, but I think that's gonna wrap up tonight. But that's it. So things are progressing. Things are being taken to the next level more than what I initially planned. So I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Well, when I said we'd go all out, we're going all out. Look at what we got here. We got the axle picked up off the jacks. Last time you saw it, we were taking the radius arms off. Those are sent to powder. Quick little update for that. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pressure wash this. We already have our degreaser right here, and you can just see the grime. But since it's already out from under the truck, we got the tractor over here. We got it nice and secured, forks to the tractor. Makes it pretty easy. We're gonna go ahead and just pressure wash the whole thing, get it looking as nice as possible. And then I bought some self-etching primer, and we're gonna repaint it flat black. So it's gonna look like a brand new axle under there. The reason why we're gonna go ahead and do all this is because the lead time on powder coat was 2 weeks. This video is actually gonna span quite a while, and then just kind of condensed into seeing everything put on the truck. But that's the plan. So let's get this washed. All right, guys, so we just got done power washing it. You can see it looks a whole lot better. You can see it looks a whole lot better. Not any of the dust, not any of the dirt, but it still does not look as good as I want it to. After hitting it with some degreaser, you can see the spots where it's starting to rust, so we're gonna touch that up with some paint. I thought about trying to primer the whole thing and then just repaint the whole thing, but looking at it, I think we're just gonna do some touch-up. So that touch-up is gonna go a long way. And just the overall looks of the axle, and that's what we're here to do. So we're just gonna start kind of here in the middle and work our way where we see it needs touched up, it's dried, everything else. We made sure to keep all the electrical connections covered or out of the way with the ABS, and then our vent for the axle tube for the diff. So let's go ahead and get this thing painted up, let it dry, and then we'll start working on the rear end of the truck while we're still waiting for powder coat on the radius arm. And the paint we're going with is the flat matte. That is the same on the axles for the second gen. So that hasn't caused any issues. It hasn't flaked, hasn't done anything other than hold up to what we've done so far. So that's what we're gonna go back with on the Mega.
All right, so we got it painted. We got it suspended up in the air. Now you can see, now she looks good. So we're gonna let it dry, suspended, and then come take a look at it again. Make sure we didn't miss anything. I've been staring at it too long to see everything that I missed so far. Hopefully nothing, but just basically hitting it where we can, and little controlled sprays to get in the nooks and crannies. I'm not a painter by any means, but I'd say that looks pretty good for the time and the skill set that I have. And so we're gonna let it dry, take one more look at it, and then we'll set it back down on the jacks and go from there.